Today with which will answer the question: are we allowed to check emails in the synagogue? Are we allowed to finish working on our phone in our synagogue? Are we allowed to have kaparot in the synagogue? Are we allowed to plan things in the synagogue? Or is it something very sensitive that we should not be doing? So the Shulchan Aruch in Siman Kuf Nun Aleph 151 in Orach Chaim says as follows: the synagogues are and the Batei Midrashot, we do not act in them lightheadedly. For example, have things that may be inclusive of jokes or sicha b'tila or mundane conversation. And ochlim v'shotim b'hem, we do not eat or drink in the synagogue. V'lo mitkashtim b'hem, we don't use them to kind of need a place to change clothing. V'lo metalim b'hem, and we don't just like take leisure walks in them. We don't enter them when it's too hot outside or too cold outside. We don't use them for any ulterior motive aside for praying to Hashem and coming close to Hashem. However, Talmidei Chachamim, those that are Torah scholars, they are allowed to eat and drink in the synagogue mitoch dochak, from lack of other opportunities, because if they're going to be studying Torah the majority of the day, leaving the synagogue just to have a drink and coming back every time may interrupt their consistency of learning, and therefore they're allowed to bring some food and eat it in the synagogue. There is more leniency in a bet midrash than a synagogue, because a bet midrash, a synagogue, is exclusive for tefila, and so anything that's outside of tefila is already considered something very sensitive. The Arizal in a synagogue wouldn't even learn, wouldn't say a drasha. But in a bet midrash, then he would be more comfortable doing so. But even for the sense of the drasha, and so the question is, sometimes you need to just finish something. You have something that you need to finish. It could even be that we didn't even begin the tefillah yet, and you're just waiting. Maybe you came a few minutes early, or you decide to just stick around a few minutes later. So we're not in the middle of the tefillah. You're before or after the tefillah. May I or may I not just finish off some things I need to do? Maybe have my laptop, maybe different things. And the answer is, says Rabbi David Yosef, that is also included in the sensitivity of not doing this, not being productive in these kind of areas, and doing anything that's a side of the kavod of Hashem in the synagogue. And he also brings another halacha, like Kaf HaChaim, that it's also from the Gemara, that we, for example, sitting with our legs crossed in the synagogue is also something, when I say, meaning to say like you sit like on a chair like that, like that, that's also something that is not allowed. Also leaning back too much, showing some sort of ease, excessive measure of ease, that also should not bring it. Also just walking around, and as he says over here, doesn't say it in the way we know, but basically just like schmoozing along and things like that. He says it over there. This comes and goes, this one's talking this, that, doing whatever they want, as if they're outside of the sanctuary. Now, if, as he asked about shechita, they used to use the Bet Knesset for shechita, for kaparot, before Yom Kippur. That was the best ideal place to bring people and congregate and do the shechita. So how or when is that allowed? He said certainly inside the cavity of the sanctuary you should not do that, but in the hallway or foyer, that's part of the facility, but outside of the Makom of Tefillah, that is allowed. However, if sometimes they also pray there, sometimes maybe Simchat Torah, maybe a couple of times a year, it should also be refrained. So we're in a very holy place. It's a very big kedusha, and so all these things are conducive to having people that are in the synagogue participate in making it the holy entity that it is, and keeping it that way. Amen.